Welcome to Beyond Six Figures, the podcast that helps business coaches to micro-niche, get noticed, and become fully booked. Learn from top industry leaders who've successfully taken their businesses and their lives beyond six figures. Get ready to level up your coaching business and make this world a better place, one business at a time. And now, here's your host, Ziv Raviv.
Welcome to Beyond Six Figures. Our guest today is Sean Olson, co-founder and CEO of Renogize Professional Coaching. He is recognized as one of America's top coaches and leader of a firm that has been named the best executive coach firm multiple years running. Sean is an author, speaker, and the host of the Intentional Leader podcast with over 25 years of experience helping leaders and teams unlock performance, build influence, and sustain growth through intentional leadership and long-term coaching relationships. Hello, Sean. It's a pleasure to have you here with us. How are you?
Ziv, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast. It's always fun to talk to other business leaders from around the world. So thanks for having me on.
It's a real pleasure, Sean. You have quite a reputation of helping people for quite a while. People don't want to leave you, and they stick around for many years and they use your services. So before we go into that and kind of pick your brain about the topic of maintaining a coaching relationship for a long time, tell us a little bit about your journey. How did you get to where you stand now as the co-founder of Renogize?
Sure. Thank you for that. So all of us in life have those journeys that take us down different paths. And my journey actually started out following what the family had done. For multiple generations in my family, there had been preachers. And believe it or not, I actually started out going into ministry. And in ministry, my greatest passions were teaching and developing people. And after about 17 years in that realm of life and impacting people, I was just really captivated by leadership. And it came to a point of transition in my life and took advantage of an opportunity to go to Indiana University and work there in executive education, where you're developing leaders from companies. And in that, I started our company on the side with my wife. We were co-founders of the business and really just developed this passion for executive coaching and understanding how to really impact people for the long term, for them to keep elevating and accelerating their growth and development to impact others. And almost 10 years ago, Ziv, we went full-time on our own. It was that thing of moving from side gig to full-time gig, which is always scary, but it's been an awesome journey of almost 10 years. And I think one of the greatest rewards, and we're going to talk about this a little bit, is the very first two client organizations I signed are still client organizations today.
That is amazing. And that is not an easy fit, because just business in general over the last 10 years have changed in so many ways. New platforms, algorithms, business models, the way people consume content, the way people buy and make decisions, everything changed in those 10 years. So to choose to stay with the same coach throughout all these transitions, that says a lot. So tell us a little bit about your style of coaching so that we kind of get to know a little bit about what makes your work with people so valuable.
Sure. So if you're familiar with executive coaching, there's a lot of incredible executive coaching firms around the world. And we focus in exclusively on leadership and developing leaders. There are a number of great executive coaching companies out there that have their own kind of model, right? And so if you hire them, Ziv, they're going to take you through their model and how they portray leadership to be. Really what sets us apart is that we don't have a specific model. We have a process, but that process is all about you. And so literally, like if I was trying to have you buy into coaching, Ziv, I'd be saying that, Ziv, if we coach you, we are not helping you be the best company leader for your company. We are coaching you to become the best leader you were created to be, and your company gets the benefit of it. So it's a very personalized process to pull the best leadership out of you. And actually, the name of the company, Renogize, is a portrayal of that. When we started the company, just a quick little story, I was sitting down with my wife and our then 7-year-old daughter, and I was explaining the executive coaching to them because we wanted to have a name for the business. And I said, it's kind of like renovation of the home, right? The bones of the structure are really solid, but we got to go in, take out some things that are outdated, freshen it up, bring in some new tools to make it a better version of itself. And I said, second to that, we are there kind of like their cheerleaders. Sometimes that's waving pom-poms. Sometimes that's a pat on the back. Sometimes they need a kick in the butt. And my wife and daughter are like, renovate and energize, Renogize. And that's really the essence of it. And so we are firm believers in helping you become the best version of yourself. We don't want to change who you are. When we're done, we want you to be Ziv 2.0.
Do you see any change in the way that your work is perceived when it comes to, like, just over the years, generational change, right? Like the millennials started to become key dominant figures in corporate world, right? Gen Zs are becoming a big part of the workforce. Do you see did you have to rewrite some of the processes so that you'll be perceived more relevant because of the change?
Yeah, it's a great question. Yes and no. So here's what I'll say with that. Our process hasn't changed in the sense of we have a very personalized process to really tap into you and to pull the best out of you and to help you become the best version of yourself. What has changed then is the situations we're coaching people through. And so coaching's real time, right? So a decade ago, we're talking to organizations about how to navigate scaling, right? Because businesses were taking off in different ways. And we were talking with them about really how to lead different styles of individuals. Then we had that great thing that hit us in 2020. What was that called? COVID, right? And COVID changed everything because now everybody goes virtual. And it's like, how do I lead when I can't actually walk down the hall and talk to my people? And so a lot of our conversations shifted not just to the virtual environment, but they shifted this way. Pre-COVID, 80% of our conversation was about leadership tools and how to execute as a leader. And 20% of it was about leading that person, like their personal side of it. COVID comes and it flipped the script. And it transitioned where our conversations were 80% about people and navigating fear and scarcity and what's going to happen. And quite honestly, a lot of businesses were struggling, right? And now that we've come out of COVID and we've shifted into like Gen Z, like you're talking about, conversations now are more 50-50, the tools and the person, which is a great balance. But now it has really shifted to this realm of what is unique about the persons in Gen Z. So generational traits are legit. That's why we have them. That's why we talk about them. But the fact of the matter is, they're still people. So how do the people in Gen Z portray themselves differently from people who are Xers and boomers? So the conversations change, our process doesn't, but our ability to stay on top of what's happening culturally with people allows us to drive those conversations in a great way.
So you coined this term called promotability. Talk me through, like, what do leaders do, and with promotability, why is it important? How do we avoid the pitfalls of feeling inauthentic, like bragging or something of that sort?
Yeah, so promotability is a huge piece, right? Because most people in life, not everybody, most people at work, they want to get promotions. They want to move up. They want to feel like they have more responsibilities and leadership, especially as they experience more. And so, yeah, my first book was talking about 7 strategies to accelerate your leadership growth and promotability. There are key traits to being promoted. And typically the biggest failure people make is like, Ziv, if you're a manager and you want to be a director, you just say, well, I want to start doing director things today. When in fact, it's not doing director things today that gets you promoted to being a director. It's being an all-star where you are. If you're an all-star manager and you're hitting it out of the park and your people are learning and growing and your team is executing, they will naturally want to promote you. And so one of the biggest mistakes leaders make is saying, I need to focus on what's next, when really what they need to do is be a master where they are, and then they automatically get promoted.
I love it. This is so key. This is important for a lot of reasons. Also, if you're a business owner, even if you're the leader and you want your business to be promotable in a way.
Yeah.
This is really interesting. And so except for focusing on the be here now, How do you help people, your coaches, with promotability? What type of tools do they use?
Yeah. So as we talk about that, and there's different strategies behind that, one of the greatest aspects of it is leading up. And not many people think about this. So we think about management and leadership. We think about our direct reports, the people that are under us. And we might think about our peers, but it's really leading up and influencing the people above us. And I learned a valuable lesson from a mentor of mine years ago is that people think that their boss controls their future. Their boss doesn't really control their future. Quite honestly, there's a lot of bosses that are not that effective, and they are worried about being seen as incompetent if their direct reports do something better than them. And so there's many situations where a direct boss actually holds a person back. It's your one-over-one that controls your career. Who's your boss's boss? And do you know your boss's boss? And does your boss's boss know where you want to go in your career? And they need to know you have aspirations. But Ziv, here's one key trait that I say really sets apart people who get promoted rapidly. People get promoted rapidly are thinking outside of the box of their function. So let's just say, for instance, Ziv, that you were in accounting, right? And so you're in the finance department of your business, but you're talking to your boss and your boss's boss about strategy and about marketing and sales and how do all these things loop together. When you ask questions that aren't questions for your function alone, they see that you have the enterprise mindset, the business mindset, and they want to move you up to impact the company.
Very interesting. So it's all about understanding the right questions.
It is. And it's being curious, right? I always say the greatest leaders are both curious and courageous. The curious side is thinking of those questions and how do these things all work together and how can I impact the company? The courageous side is having the guts to actually ask the questions. Because a lot of people think of great questions, but they never ask them because they don't have the courage.
And basically your leadership, when you lead up, you have to ask those questions. You have to be courageous and curious towards your upper management as well. Like, give us an example for how does it look like? Let's say I'm a new client and I want to consider bringing you on board. Describe to me like what would be a typical package for my business.
Yeah, sure. So our company, Renogize, is exclusively B2B. So we're selling to companies. And so oftentimes we're coaching multiple people right off the bat. But basically, if your company wants to invest in you, Ziv, and have you go through executive coaching, number one is it is developmental. It is not like remedial or punitive. Like we've had companies come to us and say, hey, this person's been messing up. We're ready to fire them. They're on a performance improvement plan. We tell them, you need to do your own processes. That's not what we do. But if they're like, Ziv's a good leader, we want to be a great leader. We wanted to impact the organization and others. We'll start talking. And so we have basically 2 coaching packages, a 7-month or a 12-month package. And the 7-month is our most predominant one. And that is like, we always do an in-person launch because it's about relationships. So we will come to you where you are and we'll interview you as well as your boss. We want your boss to be involved because we're not there every day. Your boss is. And by the way, through that, Ziv, we vicariously end up coaching your boss too. Because if you're accelerating, we want your boss to be able to notice and accelerate themselves. And then we have another 2 hours with you. So it's a 3-hour launch. But hour number 2 is what sets us apart. And this is that personalization process. We call it our personal deep dive back to childhood. Where were you born? Tell me about mom and dad, siblings, schooling, what you've been through. And in that process, I learned all this bit about your life. You kind of walk me through your life journey. Here's why. Everything you've experienced tells me why you lead the way that you lead. And again, this is about you. So as I help you connect dots to why you lead the way you lead, both good and not so good ways, we can navigate that. And then we have a virtual call every 2 weeks for 7 months. And in that, that's coaching in real time. You know, you've got somebody on your team you're trying to develop. Let's talk about that. How do you normally do that? And we'll work through maybe a different approach. Then you go have a meeting with that person. Next time we're online, hey, Ziv, how did it go? What did you learn? What do you want to repeat out of that? And so it's this real-time coaching that challenges you to elevate your game while making an impact on your people.
So how do you move from a 7-month package, which is the predominant one, to working with people for 7 and 10 years?
Growth and navigating where they go. So 42% of our clients are promoted during or within a year of their engagement with us. And when you get promoted, everything changes. What got you here won't get you there. And so part of it is their role is changing. It's adapting over time. Part of it's what you've already asked about, right? Through cycles of business, pre-COVID, post-COVID, generational aspects that are coming in now. We are right now in that period of great resignation and retirement where, up globally, upwards of 25% to 30% of the workforce is going to be retiring in the next decade. Are organizations ready for that? And are they elevating at a certain level? And so in those relationships that last for a long time, there's always purpose behind it. They're growing, they're getting promoted. One of the clients that I've been with for 9 years now, he's had 4 promotions in the time we've been together. Well, with every promotion, there's new things for him to deal with. Where he was being kind of like leading individual contributors and managers, he's now overseeing the entire system. And so as they evolve and grow and change, we keep walking with them because of the relationship. We're that sounding board. We're that partner with them. And here's what I love about it, Ziv. Everybody's going to see you growing and continuing to move forward in your career. And we don't exist. We're that silent partner there for your benefit to help you excel.
Yeah, so you're definitely behind the scene, behind the curtains. No one really needs to know in a way, but you know, and your client knows. And I'm guessing that HR knows. Are they the ones that are paying you?
Typically not. As a matter of fact, HR is not our entry point. Usually it's senior leaders, VPs and officers who are feeling the pain of ineffective leaders below them. Or sometimes we've even had a board of directors who's brought us in to coach the CEO because the CEO is a great leader, but they've got those 1 or 2 limiting behaviors that's holding them back. So our buyers typically, like probably for us, 90% of the time, our buyers are not coming out of HR. It's coming out of the business units because they feel the pain of poor leadership or they see the benefit of some future leaders and their succession plan and bench strength.
So tell me a little bit about your businesses, like you as a business owner. What do you do to get more clients?
That's evolved over time too, especially because of automation, AI, things like that. A decade ago when I went full time, I always said I was a LinkedIn junkie. I still use LinkedIn, but in a different context now. But it's still about relationships and being able to establish rapport with people. But so I would say 10 years ago it was all LinkedIn. Then once we started getting clients, we started getting referrals. And that referral side of our business started to grow. Now that we're 10 years in, we're also getting a lot of migration business, meaning I coached this leader at this organization. They moved on to a different company. When they moved to the new company, they take us with them. And we began coaching inside of that organization also. But today, because of AI, because of automation, because of where social media has gone, we do a lot in the realm of social media ads. We have added to our repertoire a brand new online subscription-based program that has a lower dollar point so that we can scale to the masses and scale internationally versus just the one-on-one coaching. But in the end, there's 2 key things to getting consistent business. Number 1, develop relationships. And catch this, I'm saying relationship intentionally, not transactional, true relationships. If you don't care about people, they're not going to care about your business. So it can't be transactional. It has to be real. So it's relationships. And I know this is going to sound really trite, but you got to do a good job. You got to do a bang up job. So it's like, if we have an impact on you, what are you going to do? You're going to want to stay with us and you're going to want to tell other people about it. And I know that sounds crazy, but develop the relationships and do a killer job. Here's the way we phrase it: accurately promise and over deliver. You can't under promise and over deliver. If you under promise, you're selling yourself short and they're going to buy it in the end. Accurately promise and over deliver because they deserve it.
Wonderful. And so true. It's all about the relationships with a capital R, and transformations. Really, like, you have to be good. That means that you're making a change in people's lives. So tell me more about your group membership program. What do you actually put into it? What type of efforts?
Yeah, so we made this transition. We decided to make this move 2 years ago. We spent a lot of time building it out. And so it's called the Intentional Leader Network. The Intentional Leader is kind of like this internal brand for us. We had the Intentional Leader podcast, the Intentional Leader Academy, now the Intentional Leader Network. And this was a true effort on our part to scale. So this goes to your question of developing business. But we live in a very fast-paced world today. We live in a very video, virtual-driven world. So the Intentional Leader Network has an online course called the Intentional Leader Blueprint that you take on your own pace. But Ziv, if you subscribe, you get your own portal. So it tracks your own progress. You can take that online course. But we have a live call every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, we're on live with everybody in the network from around the globe, from different sectors. Those calls rotate on 3 different types of calls. There's a content call where I teach about a certain level of leadership, certain aspects. So like we actually have a call tomorrow, and the call tomorrow is on intentional networking. How do I take networking away from exchanging business cards and actually develop relationships? Then 2 weeks after the content call, we have a tools call where I give you tools, practical tools to execute around the content we just talked about. And then 2 weeks after that, we have what's called a hot seat coaching call. It opens up with participants asking questions about that content and tools we just covered, but then it opens up to everything in leadership. So there it's like real-time coaching about leadership issues, but everybody else is watching and listening too. And we move through as many as we can move through in the session. And so even though it's a virtual online platform subscription, live calls every 2 weeks. But you know what? Here's the thing. We know business and life, you're busy. You're not going to hit every call. They're recorded, and within 48 hours, they're put up on your portal. So you can catch up if you've missed a call and drive through that. And here's the best part about it. If you were to take the value of the online course, the value of a year with those weekly or biweekly calls, the value of the community, it has a community platform where you can talk to everybody else on the network, get to know them. The dollar value, that would be between $19,000 and $22,000. $97 a month or $997 for the year up front. If you buy the year up front, you also get a bonus of a one-on-one coaching session with somebody from my team. So it's a very cost-effective way to develop a massive network of people and grow in your leadership.
So what's the size of your team right now?
We have a mix of employees and contractors. And so we intentionally wanted to get contractors from around the country, other coaches. So we have 7 employees and 15 additional contractors across North America. And that continues to grow. The best part about our world today with automation is we're learning more and more how to automate different pieces. So we don't have to hire as many employees for the back of house aspects, but on the front of house, with coaching and delivery of leadership development programs, we want to keep expanding our team because we want to reach every type of demographic and different cultures. And that's why we keep expanding our team.
What's the latest thing you did with AI?
We use AI on a consistent basis. The latest thing is we are working on how to, I'll make it personal. I'm writing another book right now. I'm writing my second book. It's going to be called From Fixer to Influencer, a leader other people want to follow. And what I'm doing with that is I'm bullet pointing where I want to go in a chapter. I audio tape myself so I get a transcript. Then I take the transcript of that chapter, which is just me speaking and things like that. I'll put it into AI and I'm like, I want you to take this transcript. Do not change what the transcript says. But what are some stories? What are some research evidences? So I'm asking it to kind of like add some more flesh to my book, to kind of like do that instantaneous research for me to make the book more robust. So it's still me. It's still my voice. It's what I want to say. But AI is helping me in an instant make it more robust and more powerful.
Love it. Where can people go to learn more about your membership and about your work?
Yeah, thank you for that. So we'll have these in the show notes, hopefully, but the company is Renogize, Renogize. So Renogize.com. But our network is intentionalleadernetwork.com. One word. You can see everything that's on the network there. And I would even say this, that if they want to email me, Sean@Renogize.com, that'd be awesome. But Ziv, what I'll do for you is I'll put a promo code in your notes where that $97 a month or $997 for the year for the network. I'll put a promo code in there where they can get $20 a month off or $200 off of the year. Just for your listeners, we'll put the promo code in those notes.
That's perfect. And we will put all those links, including the link to your LinkedIn and to your websites and to everything. We'll put that all in the show notes. Sean Olson, thank you so much for being open and for being an inspiration for many. It's been a delight to connect with you. And I thank you all, everyone listening right now, for listening to another episode of Beyond Six Figures.
Thanks for listening to Beyond Six Figures. Check out the extended show notes that include bonus material, practical tips, and exclusive resources on our website, zivraviv.com. Until next time, keep dreaming big and pushing your business and your life beyond six figures.